This is Sophie Heller, and this is an ACT English purpose question. The question asks us, which of the selected sentences, the answer choices below, will provide the best introduction to paragraph 5, so paragraph 5, and the best transition from paragraph 4. So we want the best thing to put in this little middle area in order to take this to paragraph 5. So let's just look briefly at what paragraph 4 is talking about. So paragraph 4 is saying that these wanderers from Vung Tau went from being menial laborers along the docks to competitive fishermen. So it talks about how they've enabled themselves to compete as commercial fishermen. But in this process, they've angered American fishermen who, while simply minding their own business, so these American fishermen were already in the area, and the Vietnamese Vung Tau moving into these established fishing areas angered the Americans, because the Americans say it's difficult to buy and sell their catch with so many more fishermen around. Paragraph 5 is talking about further problems faced by the Vung Tau, like verbal confrontations, physical harassment. These are all fights between the Vietnamese fishermen and the American fishermen. Also about how their fishing styles differ. So the Vietnamese fish from north to south, while the Americans fish from east to west. So that's probably going to cause some problems with congestion. So let's look at the answer choices and see what allows us to move from the introduction of Americans being angered by the Vietnamese presence in the waters and paragraph 5, which talks about specific fishing problems. So choice 1 says the Vietnamese fishermen are proud of their expertise, which is probably true, but it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. In this paragraph 4, we're talking about the anger of the American fishermen, and paragraph 5 is talking about specific problems between the two groups of fishermen. So it's completely irrelevant whether or not they're proud of their expertise, so that's no good. Choice number 2, Americans' incomes are suffering. This is something that ties back to this Americans, it's difficult to buy and sell their catch, but this is just talking about a specific group of American fishermen and not about Americans in general. So this is a very broad statement. It also does nothing to connect this idea of American anger towards the Vietnamese and paragraph 5's discussion of some specific problems. So choice number 2 is going to be irrelevant. Choice number 4 is also going to be irrelevant. So the market value of fishing is dropping, which has to do with fishing, but we're talking about conflicts between the Vietnamese and the Americans, so this is irrelevant. That's not going to work. Choice 3 is a good choice because it moves us from the idea of this anger of the Americans towards the Vietnamese that exists, and in paragraph 5, how does it manifest itself? What are the specific problems that this anger brings? So choice 3 is going to be a great way to introduce the specific problems talked about in paragraph 5. So choice 3 is our right answer.